3 years, 1,095 days. When I was 3 years old, my little twin sisters were born. My mom had just recently bought me one of those infamous proud to be big sister shirts, and I was determined to flaunt it like no other. The first few years were truly like that of my own paradise. I loved being the one to set the bar and was the role model for my little twin sisters. I helped with all the fun stuff and got to witness what seemed would be a fantastic quid pro quo relationship in the future. Little did I know what I had coming to me. 3 years is all it took. By my middle school years, I began to notice that this wasn't all fun and games anymore. Suddenly, the burden was put on me. I was the oldest, and I began to notice that within the hierarchy of my sisters and I, the world of responsibility and pressure seemed to rest on my own shoulders. By assuming this role, I was automatically the caretaker, the responsible one, supposedly, and the member of the family who would be forced to set the bar for all future events to come. Although I admittedly noticed the authority in my position, the advantages still did not outweigh the disadvantages. As much as I enjoy having two younger sisters, the pressure that I feel sometimes is absolutely unfair. Resolve that the youngest sibling has it easier than the oldest. There is truthfully no way of denying it. First, I would like to define easier. Merriam-Webster defines it as freedom from pain, annoyance, or anxiety, giving ease, comfort, or relaxation, not burdensome or strained. As a younger sister, all of these descriptions are accurate, as I will further elaborate on in just a moment. Whether you are the oldest, youngest, or even only child within your family, I ask that you maintain an open mind during my arguments. Although we may not like to admit it, it is impossible to deny the constant disputes that saturate our family lives on who has it easier. It seems that the difference in opinion is constant, and each sibling always wants to claim that the other has it the easiest. This is in no way, shape, or form true, and after you hear some of these anecdotes to come, you will wholeheartedly agree with my position. Okay, it's impossible to deny straight facts. The oldest is, well, the oldest, and therefore will naturally be the first to experience pretty much everything. They will be the first to come in past curfew, to start a major war with their parents when they do not speak for days, the first to be caught in a lie, and the first to pretty much deceive their parents in one way or another altogether. Being the eldest, I am extremely credible in this matter, as I have been the cause of all such events at least once in the Samuels family. I have thoroughly experienced the consequences in my 8 years as a teenager. About a month ago, my little sister was about an hour and a half late for her curfew. When I was a freshman in high school, my parents would have considered this unheard of. In fact, if I ever did pull such a little prank, I likely would have had my cell phone taken away for about a week and wouldn't have been allowed out for the next 2 weekends. I was anxious to see what the little one would have to endure as a result of her actions. An apology. My jaw dropped in awe. Later, my parents explained to me that they recognized that things happen, and the ever-so-popular excuse of a dead cell phone finally worked on them. Their leniency was unbelievable to me. It seems that, and I quote from my own mother, I had broken or my parents' bridges. The freedom that my sisters continue to receive surprises me every day. My mother is a moody person. Some days she seems like she's on top of the world, but others she acts like World War II was all my fault. Whichever way she's swinging at that very moment, she always assumes that I can take the responsibility for it. This assumed responsibility has taken a great toll on my own personality, and sometimes I get quite defensive quickly. Psychologist Joseph Lee Rogers reaffirms this idea in stating that the last-born child is frequently the easiest to get along with in a family because they are well-adjusted, happy, and confident. Along with this idea is that of the youngest being babied. The negative may state that this can be harmful to their lives later on, but this is not true. The youngest is only babied in the sense that they are cherished even greater as the last born during their adolescence, and this will have no effect on their immaturity later in life. As they continue to observe their older siblings as role models, they will eventually grow out of the juvenile phase and recognize that they are on the same level of adulthood. As much as we give credit to setting the bar, it is not exactly the best option between the two. The oldest has one chance and only one chance to make it or break it with his or her parents. Whether he resides on the top of his class or goes to a juvenile delinquent center, he or she is expected to fulfill every hope and dream for their firstborn child, their parents' idea of a firstborn child. In this aspect, the negative may argue that the youngest does not have their own personality, but this is an extremely general statement. Yes, the oldest may create the first pathway through life, but there is no rule stating that the youngest must follow it. If the oldest makes a huge mistake, then the youngest has the benefit of learning from it. After witnessing numerous fights and disagreements, the youngest is also able to recognize the testy spots of their parents and will be much better prepared to dodge them. This advantage is invaluable and will indisputably provide them a more nonchalant lifestyle. I anticipate the negative's dominant argument will be that the youngest must live up to the oldest expectations, and they will be unable to formulate a life of their own. Unless your parents are completely unrealistic and ignorant, their love for their children will remain consistent and equally dispersed, regardless of what the oldest has accomplished. On the other hand, if the eldest sibling has taken the wrong pathway, then the youngest is able to make themselves appear twice as accomplished in esteem. So either way, they are cut a major break, while the oldest is still busy trying to satisfy their parents' most exotic and extreme expectations. There should not be a doubt in any of your minds that being the youngest is quite a free ride in life. I will close with a quote that I find an accurate amalgamation of my arguments. If the oldest sibling shovels the snow, then the younger one will always have a clear path to life.